Yeah. So we learned another. We've been using another method called main. Remember? We're using that string where we are ready to receive an array of string. We come up with a variable name R, arguments, doesn't matter. Here it's a void, okay? Of course, it's a public method. Anything else here? Static. Why? See, this is when you run a program. In order to run the program, that means your operating system supposed to come and start the job from the main. In order to get that done, you must have the static. If you remove it, you don't even get the play button inside into the game. That means you must have it. Did you put that here? You put that here because this is another class you're creating, of course, employee for your lab one. So when you create the employee class, so you got a lot of methods and variables there. These methods are, see here, main is available to operating system. These methods are not available to anyone. But only way to make it available is, how are you going to make it available? You have to create an object. Employee, okay, employee, lowercase employee 1 equals new employee. Now, this guy could use all the, when you put the dot, all the methods will come. You understand? So, in order to make it only available to an object, you're not supposed to put the static. If you put the static, it's going to be available. It's not going to crash when I put the static here. Never do that. If I do that, what's going to happen? How do I access this? For example, by mistake, I just use public static void. Then how do I use it? How do I use it? That method. Yeah, you're going to say, you could say here, employee dot set name. Could put something John or something. Since you got it static, it's going to be available straight from the class. So static make it class variable. Okay? We don't want that. That's the reason when you build your lab, you said it's not static. Non-static means I don't want anybody access this straight from the class. If they want, they have to go through some rules and regulations. That means they have to create objects. Then they're going to use it. That is called object-oriented programming. Here you didn't care about the object-oriented side of the programming. I just need a main method. Operating system should be able to use it without any extra step. That's it. So if you do it here, that becomes something like a directly available. So we call that class methods. Now it is called a, what is the name of that? Without static, it's called. Now the set name is, this is called an instance method. Instance method. Instance. Yeah? Instance. That means you have to create an instance. That means an object. So that is what this chapter in the beginning they talk about that. You can go home and read it, static method, static field, all that stuff. But there is a class in Java, they use, you go to API, you use this, you go to math class, all the methods and variables are static. If I said E and pi are the instance variable of math, am I correct or not? I'm saying E is an instance variable. Am I right or wrong? Wrong, because you don't have to create an instance of math. Math is available to everyone. You don't have to create my math, UTA math, your math. No. Math is universal stuff. The value of pi is supposed to be same for everyone, otherwise what's the use? Same way, all the methods in the math supposed to be available to everyone with the same standard, same equation. So you don't have to create some math object to use any of this method. Okay, all these methods. We use maybe, did we use any of them? Maybe square root or something. Maybe we could use more there. All these methods are done for you. Everything is static because it's supposed to be available straight from the math class. So you're going to say math dot square root, you got. Math dot pi, you got. That's it. Understand? So that's why it is static. Then we go back to chapter. I have a lot of small examples here. So the chapter is chapter 6 PowerPoint. That's what I started. I'm not going through that. That's your job to go slide by slide. Then today we go to, I have another slide called Java method PowerPoint. Those are some examples. Most of them like summarizing there. So I'll go through that. That way we have something to start and what to do that. So we're going to start Java methods. Again, we just talk about math. And another example here, random is a class in Java. You use that even from Python. Random is to create random method. Then random. What's about random? All the methods inside the random, is it static or non-static?
Non-static.
Non-static. Why? Because you don't want random number same for everybody in the world. It doesn't make any sense. If somebody want to make a game, let them create a random object and manipulate whatever they want. It's not like math. So most of the methods in random is going to be regular methods like this. Then they have to create my random number, then my random number dot, then you use one. That's why 99% of the classes are staying without static for a reason. Okay, that's another class example. Then we go into few examples here and play with that. Did you see in the left side? So you have a method main that we've been using. Now main class, that the name of the class is main, and there is another method. We created a method, static. It's a static for a reason. Why? Because down here you have a main method. From the main method, you like to access the my method without creating my main. If you make it static, you have to go through that extra step. I'll show you that later. Understand? Now it's available to you. That's why don't remove the static from that. Most of the time, when you make methods, regular methods, static. When you make methods inside a class, don't put static. That's a fact. Now, so what is going to happen? The name of the method is my method. What is the return? Void. That means it's not going to return anything. What is the access specifier? It is static. That means within that folder anybody could use it without creating an object. And to see the bracket open and close parenthesis means no input. Everybody understand? No input, no return. Void means nothing. Only thing they're doing is just to print a line. I just got executed against. Only one task. They're doing something. You don't get anything. You don't have to give anything. So that is one of the types of methods we're doing. Just a method doing something. You don't have to give anything. You don't get it. But they're going to do a task. So that's why. So we could list methods different way. One, void method and no input. That's the first one. That is this. Void, no input. It's going to do something. That is something like a mechanism. Do stuff. You don't have to give anything, you don't get it. That is number one. How many times you calling that method? 3 times or 3 million times? They don't care. So you call, do the same thing, come back again, do the same thing. So you're going to display 3 times. They're going to display that 3 times. Now, yeah, only 1 time, no big deal. I don't know how you have that. Now we go into another slide. See here, say my method. What are you doing here? Number 2 style. What is that? Still void method. Is it void? Nothing is returning with input. Make sense? No, yeah, the input. What is the input here? First name. String is the type. Do you understand? One input. They're going to use the input in that line. First name plus. I don't know what it is. Yeah, whatever. Maybe a type. Is a word? No? No. Yeah, maybe I copied from somewhere. Yeah, doesn't matter. Whatever the type, it's going to come there. This time we're going to call the same method 3 times for 3 different people. So it's going to happen. Maybe that's the last name or something. Do you understand? See, this is the way you call it. Another one. This time you have the same thing with the 2 input. First name and age. So anytime you're calling a method with input, you have to put that. So this Jenny, age. So Jenny is an argument, age is another argument. This we call that parameters or even argument. So you have 2 parameters, first name and age, and you're calling that method by providing 2 arguments for that argument. See, and just 31. It's coming here. Then we put an is in between and add them up. So it's going to be Jenny is 8. Do you understand? Symbol number 2. Okay, next. See that? Here. So we have I put that number 4. So you have a return method. See that? What is the return type? What's the return type? Integer. Something you're going to get. And you have to give something. That means input. Or inputs. Here also. If you want more, you can do it. So anytime you call this kind of method, you have to see that here. You're calling that my method. See, since they're looking for 2 arguments, 5 and 3 comes here. They add 5 plus 3, 8. That return is going to be the integer. So in order to receive the returns, you have integer c equals my method 5. Then you're printing that in the print line. So anytime you're calling a return type method, you have to receive it. That's a way. Otherwise, there is no use. Java doesn't crash your program, but Java says, why are you wasting your time? So that is. What is this? Okay, this is another one. What's the name of the method? Check 8. Okay, that we could put 3. Check 8. You don't get anything? Void. Method. Of course, you need input. See that? Void. Nothing is good. There you, yeah.
What's the difference between 2 and 3?
Oh, 2 and 3? Oh, that's the same thing, isn't it? This is supposed to be returned. So that means, no, nothing. No. 2 and 3, yeah. Input. Okay, so this is not 3. Yeah, this is, yeah, it's not 3. Forget about it. I'll bring 3 soon, okay? It's not 3 because of the input. 3 will come soon. 3 will come soon. Okay? This is not 3 somehow. Because usually the third type, not too many people use it. That's the reason. It's missing. This is still what? Number 2, isn't it? This is still number 2. Thank you. See, what is happening? You bring the argument, check it. If age is less than 18, you display something, so you don't need to bring it. That's why just a task going on. This is the way you call. See, check 820. Come here, check it. Less than 18, so it's going to be access denied. That's it. That means we need a number 3. Okay, I'm going to add 1 already. Okay, see, let's do one, my method 1. So no input, no output. Number 12, my method 2, input, no output. That is number 2, clear? Now we go and see, I put another one. No input and return. That is line number 16. Okay. You get a return method with no input. That makes sense? That's what is happening there. Usually that kind of methods are not going to happen. If it's an empty argument, usually you don't do anything. Without processing what you're supposed to return. In this case, that's why I'm just returning hello world just for fun. So it's kind of very rarely used stuff. Line number 16, my method 3a, that's what I change it to 3a, I don't know why. So it is 3. See that? You have no input. Only thing they're returning is little constant hello world. In this case, maybe not that applicable. You could even do the same thing, line number 20. You could have inputs. See here, yeah, there you have this one. See, 2 inputs doing the calculation and do we understand? So different type of. Now you have a method 3, you have 2 input. Now method 4 is the most of the time this is very powerful stuff. You have inputs and output. So this makes sense. You have a method bringing 2 numbers, you adding them up or doing some calculation and return the value. That makes sense. That is the return method with the input. Usually this is the best one. This is very rarely used. This two also not bad. Now let's use that one by one and to see how it works. I'm going to uncomment my method one. My method one. So because no input here, no input, no output. So when you call the method, you don't have to know anything. You just call the method. They're going to do something. They're going to do something. That's going to be just a print out. That's it. Now method 2. We call method 2. You have to provide the first name. See, method 2. You have to add. That is going to be check that name and say hi to that name. Hi. Got it? That's the way you call. You have to provide. And method 3 in this case, method 3 no input, but they're going to give you an output which is say hello. So you put that in the result here and display. I should do this way, result here. You understand? My method 3a, line number 40 will bring me here, and hello world is going to return and go to the variable result, which is a string. Then I put that in the string, the string line. Okay? Hello world. That is. Now we have another one. Comment this. Method 3. What is method 3 doing? Method 3 is receiving two arguments, name and age. Then they're going to do something. See, printing. You don't get anything. They're going to do some action, which is display the name and age there. See, it is age. And method 4. Let's use that. Method 4 is going to receive two input and return something to you. So you have to have something to receive the return value. That's why we put integer c. The c is going to receive the value of this method return, and of course you could display that in the print. Okay, so it's going to be 8. Again, you don't even need that variable. If you just want to use one time, see, come here, inside the print line, you're going to paste it. You're going to say, go to the print line, and I'm calling my method by passing 5 and 3. So they do 5 and 3, 5 plus 3, 8 is returning. That will go inside the print line as an argument. The job is done anyway. So you don't even need that line number 43. But line number 43 is only if you're planning to use that output 8 again and again. It's a good idea to have it. If it's only one shot display, you could stay with the line number 45. Do you understand? That's only for repeated use. That was all the 4 types of methods. That's everything here. Now we have another one. Java said if you don't know how many inputs coming, here you could have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever number. If you have unknown number of variables coming, there is a way to do it. That is called a method with a variable argument. Variable arguments. That means it could be 0 or more arguments could come. How you do that? This is the syntax, line number 28. My method 5. Okay, I would like to bring integers, but I don't know how. Maybe 0, maybe 1, maybe 20. So you said 3 dot dot dot. Dot dot dot, 3 of them, no space. That is called a variable argument.
So this would be good,
Any.
including our last time. Well, not actually in the lab, but we could use that.
In the lab 1,
Yes, because I think we made 3. We declared like the number of variables in place.
or 3 employees.
Yeah, one where you do where we take all of the argument, like all of the, and then one where we
No.
take 2, and then one where we take 3.
For constructor, you don't do that.
We could just use that.
That's the constructor you're talking about.
I think so. Oh, okay, right. So that's cool.
When the constructor, everything's supposed to be very straightforward. Here, the problem is everybody's supposed to be integers. If you do that, the problem is your name is string, ID may be number, salary is double. You can do it. All the attributes are integer. Maybe it's good, but I don't recommend it. Because you're giving a very much flexibility to a developer. You could throw any number of garbage. I will try to validate this. Syntactically, it might work, but don't do it. Everybody understand the question? It's a very good question, but don't use it. Okay? Because most of the time it's not going to happen because of the different types of variables in your class. That is not going to work anyway. If all the variables are, if making all the instance variables are string, it's still confusing the other side developer. Because they don't know how many variables you have. It's kind of too much operand. That's it. Okay? But in this case, we bringing any number of integers. Since that's any number, you don't even know how many. Line number 29 is going to measure how many. So it's that 3 dot will make something like a list is coming or an array is coming. It's act like an array of integers. So args, that's the name of the array. Dot length will give you the size. If we are passing 5 integer, the args dot length is going to be 5. Then line number 30. Remember what is the name of that for loop? It's a special name. Line number 30 for loop. What's the name of the for loop? All the loops are iteration. You're right. It's a special name for that. For each. For each. That's in the PowerPoint slide. For each means for each I in the args. I could be anything. You could put value here. For each item, whatever. So for each item in the args, display. Line number 30. That's what you see. So for each, that we call for each. You don't need integer x equals 0, some x, nothing. It's easy. You put the full column, will make it each. For each I in the I maybe stands for item kind of stuff. Each items in the args, which is going to be 0, maybe 1 or 2 or 20, doesn't matter. They're going to do it. You don't have to know how. That is for each. Okay. That is called for each. How many statements for this for loop? This for loop, how many statements inside the for loop? Only one. See that? Line number 31. That's the reason you don't even need a curly brace. If it's only one statement, you don't need a bracket. You could even add one bracket just to. See? You could add. It's not going to do anything extra. You're going to say, I'm starting my for loop, but only one. I'm closing it. Now you could add more stuff into this for loop, more and more. But anytime you have only one statement, the curly brace is optional. Understand? Okay. try to add another. That's the idea. Do you understand? Now, how do we call this kind of method? Come down here. We're calling my method here. This time you have only one argument, just you passing number 1. My method 1 goes there and display 1. See, there's a number of arguments, 1. Or you could even pass a lot of numbers. See, same function. You're going to say this time I have 1, 2 up to 10. Can you take it? Yeah, that's it. You will do it because it's not a big deal. That's the way you design variable arguments mean. Could be 1 or more, or 0 or more, I should say. 0 or more mean. Now, your question, can I use an array instead of comma, comma, comma? They said yes. So, instead of saying 1, comma, 2, comma, 3, I have an array already done 10, comma, 20, comma, 30, or I got an array from some other function result. Can I use it? Yeah, passing x, which is an array, to the function. So the array comes here because of the dot dot dot, and measure the length of the array. What is going to be the length of the array now? For line number 15, how many? What's the length of the x? 4, yeah, 4 items. Then it's going to go through the array 4 times. That means for each number in the array display. That's what is going to happen. It's going to display 10, 20, 40. And line number 52, I even just call the method within nothing. See, this time nothing. They're going to say number of arguments 0, nothing to display. So your variable argument function is very, very powerful. Good for nothing or what, only problem or only limitation is everything supposed to be same data type. You can make it double or string or float, whatever it is, supposed to be same. You understand? So that is all the method. Now we go all the way up. We have another method. See, all these methods there. My method that is regular. Look at that line number 8. That is static method. We use that. Line number 3 is a regular method. See, my method. Can I use that my method? Line number 3 is a method inside the class called main. How do I use my method? Since that is not a static, only way to use is to create an object. Let's do that. Go to main. Okay. How do I create an object? Name of the class is main. Yes, the name of the object, I put main object, you put whatever you want. New main. Now I have a live object from the main class. That will give you when I put that. They're going to, yeah, you created a regular my method. You want to use it? Yes. Rest of the stuff is coming from the Java hierarchy. We'll go through that later.
So the first ones didn't have to be called through the class, but this one does.
Yeah, because it's a non-static method. That's what I said. Anytime you have a non-static method, it's available straight from the class. Sorry, only available from the object. Yeah. See, all the methods are static. It's yours. Anytime intentionally you remove the static, means leave it only available to an object. Only available to object. How do you make an object? Object. Line number 37. then it's available. That's it. That's a good thing that I think that. If I put main dot, all of the methods are there. See, main, my method 1, 2, 3, 4, but my method is not there. See that? That all this means all this static method. See, that is very similar to math dot square root, math dot this. The following, using the keyword static is sometimes it's even confusing for advanced programmer. That's what I'm wasting or spending a lot of time. I want to make sure you get it. See, very important. So you're going to use the static or no static, depends on the way you need the method. In this case, all of them are static except the one because you would like to use it straight from the class. But my method is only available to object. Now, comment this, you could see, yeah, I just got executed in object of main class. That is coming from here. That is called the instance method. Rest of them are called class methods. That's it. Any questions? So those are the 4 methods plus 1 for a variable argument. This variable argument could be returning something or not returning something. That's it. Could be void or return. Could have both. Anybody remember how to do the variable argument in Python? I know you don't have to remember it in case somebody remember. So in Java we're going to use this 3 dot. In Python there is another something like that in Python to do it. You remember? You remember? Huh? Maybe you will learn that. A star. Star will do it. Maybe you do that. This is for the hard argument for Python. This is for when you do data science or something using Python. This is a more frequently used.
So variable argument just means variable length of the argument.
Yeah. So I should say don't use this word as a variable in regular variable like in XY. No, variable. Yeah, that's a good point. Variable length argument or variable size. Variable length makes sense. That means that's what I put 0 or more. Size. Or unlimited size. Unlimited number. Yeah, they use the word variable for arcs somehow. Okay. Those are the 4 ways to do the 4 or 5. This is a regular method. This one. So I have another method. See, variable arcs, one more. See, variable arc. The name of the method is fun, function fun, something like that. Variable argument because you could see that 3 dot. Don't put any space between the dots. That 3 dots supposed to be together. You could have space after the data type and before the variable. Okay. Now number of arguments. Again, for each. And you calling. I'm passing 100, so it's going to only 1 here 4 here 3 in an array here no. So all of them is going to do the job. So it's just another example. So variable argument is so good. Now Here we talked about the input. See, this is one way to do it. That means no input, no output. If you want to give an input, this machine looks like a, see, you could put some stuff here. Use it, process. That means you have input, still no return. And if you want some return, you could even put some return. See, something you could really get the value. Always return is one. You could have multiple input. You could put something here, integer here, double here, maybe some string message here. You could put a lot of stuff. They're going to do the process and return. So this is like a mission. So this is the process or task going on here. This is input, this is output. Understand? Now say this is one item, another item, another item. Or if you use the variable argument, you could even put one funnel with you could have any image, any number, 0 or more, 1 or nothing or 20. Maybe that's a one. Now we're going to see another one. You could design a method that's going to receive like an array of stuff. This is your input. In the input, you could really put an array. Then all the stuff is going there one by one. Then do the process. Now we should know how to declare an array. You're going to see that. How do you declare an array? First, you have to know what type of item you're going to put it in the array. If it is integer, I put int. Okay. Java say array. Give me the symbol of array. This square bracket. That means I need an array. Integer type. Java. What's the name you would like to give? Okay, I will put some my array. That's good. Okay, now this is the, you declare one array called my array. You want to do something to make it alive, you're going to say new. Just like you create the employee new, you call this type. New integer, square bracket again, say give me a new integer array. Now they demand how many you want. You have to put a number. Okay. 1 or 2 or 5 or 10.
Is this still considered a constructor?
Good question. This is behind the scene, it's act like a constructor, but not for us. It's not constructed because int is not a regular type. It's a primitive data type. But behind the scene, you really put that square bracket, say I need an integer array. Yeah, we can call that constructor, but just something in that capacity. Yeah.
Does it make any sense to have array with multiple variable types?
Yeah, in the same array. In the same array, you cannot mix it. Good question. That's a limitation of the array. Good point. Limitation of array, you should know the type and the size. That's it. If you put 100 here and you end up using only 10, you're wasting 9. If you need more than 100, you can't even use it. They said sorry. So there is a limitation for that. Yeah.
What is, so I saw that it doesn't say public or private on the top of the class. What does that mean?
Yeah, that means by default it's public.
Okay.
Really, I should say by default it's package. That means this, my file could use it. All other files could use it. All these files are to all this. not inside lab 1. Anybody in the SRC could use it. Understand? Good question. Yeah, you don't need it. If you do something inside the folder, you don't even need the public. Okay, so that's the way you declare the array. Now we're going to see one example with array. See, line number 7. You're asking what's the size of the array you want to create. Line number 8, they type it. Line number 9, use that. Line number 9, you're declaring an array of integers with whatever size they type. If they type 3, 3. They type 30, it's 30. That way it's a user input. Or you could hard code 30, 41. But yeah, you should know the size and the type before you create. Then you enter the element of array. So now the thing is, you have see, we have an array. So this is, if this is an array, now Java going to say there is a, so 100, make it 10. So you're creating a box with 10 shelf, 10 partitions. Each partition could hold a integer. But they label it. When they label, they're going to say first one is 0, second is 1. Always Java and all the languages start with 0 as the first number. So 0. So what is going to be the last one? 9, because it's 10 minus 1. This is more than 9 anyway. Okay, see that? So then you go to assign. I want to put a 7 here. How do I put 7? That means I need to put 7 in the first partition, first element, I should say. Array is the name. Then you have to say where am I supposed to put it, and give 7 to that. But that means 7. Make sense? I want to put 20 here. I put a what? 3 equals 20, isn't it? Everybody understand? That's it. You got the point. If you have 100 elements or 1000 elements in an array, assigning 100 lines like this is really crazy, isn't it? 0 that, 1, 2, 3. That's going to be annoying. Too many lines. So they're going to say, yeah, why don't you use for loop? That's what we're doing here, line number 12. Use a for loop and to let them type. Then when they type, check that stuff. Next int, SC is the scanner. Give it to that guy. So the first one is going to be my array 0, which is 7. Then whatever number you type in, keep on going to the array one by one. And when you finish the loop, completed array is full. Do you understand? That's the way. Line number 9 is the way you define the array. Line number 12 to 14 is the way you populate the array or loading the array, whatever it is. Then what we're going to do, since we are learning methods, we are checking. See that input coming here and here. The question is, can I pass array into a method? If I have the power, then I could put a lot of stuff as a package and put it into the method. Then they open and browse. Yeah, that's it. Yes, we could do it. That's what we're creating a method max. See line number 19. We have a method called max. So in this case, give me a list of list of numbers in an array. And this equation, this method will pick the maximum of that and give it to you. How they're going to do that? This is the syntax. Bring me the array. So the syntax is type, square box, bracket means array. The name of the array could be anything. Then name of the function. This time it's returning the maximum value. Makes sense? If you put void in or nobody enjoy that, it's a good function. Static means it should be available to my class anyway without creating an object. Now you're going to say, yeah, I have 20 numbers coming. Maximum. What is the maximum? If you're smart, you're going to say, I don't know yet. So I'm saying maximum is maybe 0. Because if all the numbers are 0, we are safe, isn't it? 0 is the maximum. If you have any problem, prove it. They're going to say, yeah, you said 0, isn't it? Okay, let's start from the beginning of the array, go up to the end. End means array dot length. If 10 elements are there, 10 is going to come. So 1 less than 10 is going to be, sorry, I less than 10 is going to be, it go up to 9. 0 up to 9. That means 10 of them. So you're going to do array 0. See that? I is 0 first time. If array 0 is greater than max, what is array 0? 7. What is max now? What's the
7. Or not 0.
0? 7 is greater than 0. Then you're going to say, give that to the max. Now 7 is the max. See? Then you bring the second. You put 10. 10 is going to be I equals 1. Then you're going to say 10 is greater than what? What is the max now? 7. 10 is greater. Oh, yeah. Then you put 10 is the max. Now I put 5. 5 is coming. 5 is greater than 10? No, you don't do anything. I'm skipping that. Come back. 20. 20 is greater than 10. Yeah, I swap it. Then you keep on going until the end, and you're going to get the max. Are we following? That's the way you go. You're going to check one by one. Then you return. That's max. Return is going to be outside the for loop. Don't put it inside. Okay? You're going to return the first one. That's the max. If you want to do that for min, things are saved, but instead of greater than, you're going to put less than. But when you put min, you don't say 0 equals minimum. You're going to say the first one is min. Because just to be safe, you say you understand? First, whatever in the first, in this case, you're going to say, okay, let me find the minimum. You're going to say, you're going to pick 7 and say, okay, yeah, 7 is the minimum. If it is not, prove it. Then 10 is coming. 10 is not less than 7, so it's still 7. Now 5 got it. See? That is end of that loop, minimum is going. But whatever it is, you just call that method. See? Alright, see, you come here, keep calling the max method, passing the my array. Let's try that. You have to go home and practice all this, otherwise it's going to be a disaster. Week by week, it's going to get worse. Yeah, I know that. But I have to be here anyway. And you have to be here too, so don't give up. And the size of array, to make it easy, I put only 3. 3. Okay, we put 7. Next one is 10 and 5. Okay, maximum is 10 and minimum is 5. They're doing it. That's right. Now the problem, by mistake, look at that. I remove the static. Now see line number 16 says, okay, if it is a non-static method, I don't have the power to use it. Are you following? Then you say, any chance I could use it? Yeah. You have to create an object. M. Then how do I use it? How do I fix line number 16?
Class name dot air method name.
Yeah, how do I fix here?
So you would add the class name to that.
Why? What is that? Tell me.
Which is arrays method dot
Anybody else? You're very close to.
M.
Very good. M dot. M is not. This max is only belongs to M. Now they will. Okay, I'm not running it, but it's going. Do you understand?
Can you put that to oh,
In the min, I didn't change it. I could. Now the question. See? Because of the static, it's available straight from the method. This is kind of unnecessary coding. Because I am in the array2 method, why should I say array2 method dot? Understand? So this is totally unnecessary because I am there. So, but this is a must because I remove the static. Or put the static back, that's the normal way of coding. Then they're going to say, and understand? So remove the static, yeah.
So, like, is one way better than the other? Like, if they use any one part, like,
Oh, you mean with static or without static? Yeah. With static is always the best way to do when you're creating regular methods for your program. Without static is always a must when you're building classes. These classes are used by somebody else. Something like scanner. You have to use scanner. Input equals new scanner. Math is the one of the exceptions. So when you build object-oriented programming, don't use static. When you use a regular application, your lab 2, make sure you have the static. If you don't have the static, it's not going to work. That's a very good question. Okay?
Is it standard to define max and min after they were used instead of?
Yeah, that's a good practice. Yeah, yeah. You could even copy that before main is still going to work. Yeah. They're going to find it anyway. Do we understand? Style. This is something like you cooking something at home, and you tell your kids or siblings, say, yeah, you want this food, you could order Uber Eat. You have to order that, then I will give it to you. Just like you only sell it through Uber Eat. That means you have to create an object. So if it's for your house, why you want to create that extra restriction? So without static, that means it's just like a package they're making, it's for somebody else to use it. So they're going to create application, then somebody is going to order that method through the applications. That's right. But in this case, max, minimum, it's for you to enjoy, not for somebody else to enjoy. Okay? That's it. So anytime you are not creating a class for others, you need static. Okay? That's it. Very, very tricky stuff, but we're going to see more about that. Now we could spend a few minutes for our pop quiz.
Oh,
Very smart.
you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
It's very easy, you know. Yeah, pop quiz. Very
One. Do you have extra pencil by any chance? Thank you. That's fine. Thank you.
Any extra check it?
I don't think so. Yeah, this one's out of ink. Yo, what's your name? Jake. I'm Alex. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This one is the for loop. Yeah, you have to create a for loop only to find the sum. Okay? Sum. Sum and count is already, you don't have to do any of that. You just put the for loop, that's it. Don't put too much stuff. Just a for loop. They're supposed to add